The U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations, Mike Waltz, joins us right now. Ambassador, welcome to you. What do you want people to know about the current situation as we speak?
Well, thanks, Sandra. As the vice president said, they've laid out a very basic framework for Iran to behave as a normal nation. Number one, stop supporting terrorist proxies. Number two, you cannot have a nuclear program, as not only President Trump has said, as the United Nations has said in resolution after resolution for decades. That's both enrichment and highly enriched uranium. And you have to open the sea lanes. And that's this latest action from the president that says you cannot hold the entire world hostage. You cannot, even though this Iranian regime started its existence by holding Americans hostage. You can't hold the world's economies hostage. He has flipped the script. You have tremendous naval assets there, and the Central Command just put out its statistics in the sense of it is turning Iranian ships around. Iran doesn't get to choose the winners and losers on the global economy. The United States will do that until all ships are open. So no ships come out or all ships come out.
You know, the Strait of Hormuz was the biggest trump card that Iran held. That was their biggest point of leverage. The president seems to have taken that away from them. And if he can open up the rest of the strait by using the two guided missile destroyers that are there now and mine-clearing equipment that we have got, and maybe some that other countries have as well, I mean, the Iranians have no choice but to come back to the table.
We put our two destroyers through. Mine-sweeping operations are ongoing, John, and you're absolutely right. What President Trump has done is taken that leverage, taken Iran trying to hold the entire world's economies hostage, has taken that off the table now with this action. I mean, we cannot, I can tell you from the United Nations standpoint, live in a world where two parties have a conflict, regardless of whether you agree with the conflict or not, and you have, I don't know, a country trying to shut down the Strait of Gibraltar or the Bering Strait or any other international waterway as leverage in a conflict. We've taken that off the table, and that isolates the whole issue to what President Trump has been consistent on since the 1980s, even since before he was in politics. We cannot have a genocidal regime with its finger on a nuclear button. Period. And I've got to tell you, I'm just thankful that finally we have a president who's actually taking bold, decisive action to take care of a problem before it's an absolute crisis and before we have zero options. And that is what have no doubt the Iranian regime was looking to build such a shield of conventional missiles. We saw what they've done with just what they had now. Imagine another year or 2 years, 5 years from now that it couldn't be dealt with, and then they were free to have a program.
If they put a nuke on the top of one of those, too.
Yeah, Ambassador, I just want to get your reaction to this. This is the Vice President, J.D. Vance, on with Brett last night, special report. He's identifying what he said were some good signs, even though negotiations were breaking down last weekend. Listen.
I think did make some progress. They moved in our direction, which is why I think we would say that we had some good signs, but they didn't move far enough. Whether we have further conversations, whether we ultimately get to a deal, I really think the ball is in the Iranian court because we put a lot on the table.
What did you take away from that?
Well, we have to remember, Sandra, this is the highest level talks ever between the Iranian regime and the United States. They came, they were direct, which the previous Ayatollah had absolutely refused to do. And it seems, as President Trump repeatedly says, they want a deal. They need to have a deal. The other interesting thing was they brought their central banker. And I don't think President Trump gets enough credit for the second national security policy memorandum he put in place in his second term was to reinstitute maximum pressure. Their economy is in free fall at the UN. We drove snapback sanctions, so the rest of the world has joined us. So time is not on their side here. And as President Trump says, we have the cards, not Iran. We'll see if they come back for a reasonable deal.
One of my favorite songs by the rock band The Who includes the line, "Meet the new boss, same as the old boss." And it seems that's where we are with Gallup and Aragchi. It's still the same old regime. They're an outlier in that region, unlike all the other countries in the Persian Gulf, including Saudi Arabia, moving toward more progressive modernization, peace and stability, prosperity. Iran wants to remain a rogue regime. And if the same regime is in place, can you ever have real peace and stability across that region, or are they going to continue to try to screw with everybody there?
Well, they have their radical actors, no doubt, who solely exist to export the revolution. And as I pointed out to the ambassador from Iran at the United Nations, name me a country that is better off because of Iran's export of terrorism. Certainly not Lebanon, certainly not Syria, certainly not Yemen,
Not the
Gaza, or
Palestinians.
anywhere else. But we do think we're dealing with some rational actors. They have to deal with the clerics and they have to deal with the Ayatollahs. But look right across the Gulf. Look, and this is what I point out too. Look at Dubai. Look at Manama. Look at Kuwait City. Look at Riyadh. I mean, Oman. They are exploding in terms of growth and a better life for not only their citizens but for the next generation. We'll see if we don't box them in to they have no
the one
path.
thing that's holding that whole region back is Iran.
Well, and for so many people who talk about the pivot to Asia, you know what? When President Trump finally solves this problem that sucks us back into the Middle East over and over again because of the violence that Iran exports, then we'll be able to really focus on the rest of the world.
All right, Ambassador, thank you so much for joining us today.
All right, thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.